All right, well, we are live, Lucas.
Very good. Now, before we get into it, can we talk about the game that we were gonna play? That
Sure, sure.
that we don't that we Paul had too big of a heart to play
Too
this
big of a
game.
heart. I'm a human being, Lucas.
So, for the one person watching, the game we were gonna play was we were gonna watch police, kind of like just people getting fucked up by the police.
It
You
was
know,
it was really just episodes of Cops.
yeah, that style or like body cam footage, whatever it may be. It could be cops, whatever. And
Hmm.
we were gonna play like a cops bingo style game, like sovereign citizen is a square, won't roll the window down, warrants, fleeing from the police. I didn't do nothing, you know. And but Paul didn't have the heart to make fun of these, well, not make fun of these people, but I mean, kind of
Yeah,
25%.
that's the thing is that so when Luke pitched this idea to me that I knew was gonna be just not gonna happen. But when Luke pitched this idea, I was picturing more like funny videos, like police chases, some bloopers. We can get some laughs. But then I watched the compilation that Luke put in the prep folder, and I was like, none of this is funny. This is all very sad, and I don't want to. I don't want to make. I don't want to make fun of people on like that level. That's like some serious punching down.
It is punching down. But you
Yeah.
know what? I mean, so with me, these people, how they act, they deserve it. They deserve to be arrested. They deserve to be roasted.
I don't know about
And
roasted. I
yeah,
mean,
roasted. Absolutely.
oh,
Sometimes that's the only way people learn. I didn't do anything. I didn't do. It's like, dude, you're speeding down a residential neighborhood without a license.
yo, there
You
was
didn't
one
do
where
anything.
this
Shut
guy.
up.
There was a scene where a guy was trying to hide from the cops, and he went under the bed, and the bed was like, up against the wall, and there was like this much space that the guy had to come out of. So he had like one arm coming up the way he was coming out. They still fucking tase him. That arm goes straight. You just see that arm like shaking in the camera view. Like the poor guy's stuck between the wall and the mat. Like, no, 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 no. I'm not trying to laugh at that kind of stuff, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
See, you
awful.
should be running from police.
That woman that was crying about like not getting to say goodbye to her child. That was pretty sad.
I see. I think you watched more of the video than I did because I did like a couple compilation videos and I didn't want to watch them because I wanted to play the game. You know, I was like, all right, this is what I'm looking for. I'd watch the first two, so I didn't see the woman crying because she couldn't kiss her kids goodbye before she went to jail for having crack cocaine with a fucking registered firearm.
No, she just had warrants,
Okay, yeah, figures. Yeah.
and she was drunk, fighting with somebody on the street.
Oh,
So
okay.
when the cops came, she just started sprinting.
Yeah,
The
of
cop
course.
fucking yeah. Well, she had warrants. What was she supposed
Yeah.
to do? Just drop to her knees and put her hands behind her fucking.
Yeah, I can just picture her now just running down the street. I didn't do anything. Yeah, okay.
Well, no, it was that one was actually funny because when they tackled her, they were like, "Why did you run?" And she was like, "Cause my boyfriend's an asshole." Like,
Yeah, like okay.
what? What? Okay. But no, I think Luke's always been this way. Like he likes to laugh at like the people that are lower than us, and I don't like to do that.
Well, no, that's not, I mean, so
Yeah,
you framed that
Luke's
weird. You
like, yeah, let's
framed
go.
that like I'm some fucking
You are,
just saint that's just like, haha, poor people.
you are,
Should
you
have
are,
taken care of that warrant. How
you
dare
are,
you know?
you are. You're just like these people need to be pointed out. They need to be roasted.
Well, yeah,
Like,
so I still stand by that because how these people operate, like the I didn't do nothings people, those people. There's a certain a capacity in your brain that you're missing. You didn't do anything. your tags are expired. What are you even like? What are you saying? Like how does your brain work? Like like that's like kind of like more fascinating to me.
Well, I mean, I've had experience where like one time I got pulled over, and it said my license was suspended, and I had to go to court to prove that it wasn't.
And you
And
did it the right way.
yeah, but I still had to go through that. I could have been like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. But I mean, yeah, I sat quiet and took that ticket and fought it in court. But
Yeah, but that's just what you do. That's just,
yeah,
I mean, unfortunately, I mean, you were innocent. That's awesome. Unfortunately, maybe you had to take a day off of work. That sucks. Hopefully there's compensation for that or something, or maybe
no,
you
there
can.
wasn't. No,
One,
I still got my license suspended too. It was like I owed money on a ticket, and it was this was back before debit cards and paying things
yeah.
online. So I mailed a money order, and the money order came like after the date.
Oh, I see.
And then they sent me out mail that I guess they sent to the wrong address. So when I fought it in court, we proved that the mail that they sent was returned back to sender. It never went to me.
Yeah.
And they still got the money and everything. So in court, they were like, all right, you're good. But the registry, because they just have their own set of rules, they were just like, no, you should have just known. So we're still suspending your license.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's
the registry,
unfortunate. Yeah.
I've talked about this before. Like when when I got drinking and driving when I was like 20, went to court, paid for a lawyer, fucking did everything. And all I got was like light probation with a fine, like probation where I had to call in once a month. And when I was leaving court, another lawyer was like, "Hey, just so you know, the registry has their own set of rules. Like, you're gonna get your license suspended for a long time." And they still did suspend my license. It was like, okay, great. I'm glad I, spent money on a lawyer. That was great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That sucks. That sucks. But hey, at least you didn't yeah, that sucks. I mean, that's unfortunate. Seems like some unfortunate circumstances from back in the day when you couldn't pay things electronically easily. And yeah, that does suck. But now imagine if you handled it like, tell me what I did. 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 And as the officer is trying to explain it to you, you just keep saying that.
Stop. You're crackling all over the place.
Oh, am I? Maybe I was being too loud.
Yeah. You're being way too loud right now. See, and this is why I don't like to watch these videos, because look how excited Luke is getting just by talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean,
this is the thing. Like, Luke wants to, like, I don't know, I guess get triggered and start like.
Well, like I said, it's fascinating because as the cop is trying to explain that your tags are expired, you're just interrupting him and saying, "Tell me what I did. Tell me what." And I'm not. I mean, this is no particular video, but I see it all the time. But if you did that and then you just escalated it into resisting, and then they have to rip your window out. Meanwhile, you could have just got a ticket, and now you're going to jail for the weekend. Like I just see that way too often. I wanted to turn it into a game, a fun-loving game.
I thought it was gonna be fun. That's why I was willing to give it a try, but it didn't. I'm glad we didn't do it live because that would have been so awkward. I would have felt so awkward, dude. I would have been so awkward.
That's funny.
It really would have been.
So yeah. I mean, let us know if you want us to play that game.
Yep. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you want us to give that game a try. I mean, I guess I fucking will.
Uh-huh.
Starting things off with the news. First, we're starting with a quick video on the whole Campbell soup thing. You hear about that guy?
I did, yeah.
With
He
the
was
leaked
calling, yeah.
audio saying it was like genetically modified meat and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you want to eat 3D printed meat? But then Campbell's came out and said we don't use genetically modified meat. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I'm not a soup guy really, but Campbell's soup is like a staple of American culture.
It really is.
Like it totally is.
Like you're sick, you eat some Campbell's soup.
Yeah, like Campbell's has been around since like the beginning. So, but here's a quick little clip.
A former Campbell Soup Company employee is taking legal action against the food giant, and he's making some explosive allegations about one of its top executives. Good evening, and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Those allegations are now at the center of a lawsuit claiming the company's vice president went on an hour-long tirade attacking the company's products and employees before taking aim at its customers.
And the former employee recorded it all. Eric Erickson shares that recording and what the company is saying about it.
We have for poor people. Who buys our shit?
And that's just part of an hour-long rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. So healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at meat, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. You?
The reporting allegedly of Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally.
He has no filter.
Bally, along with another supervisor and Campbell Soup Company, named in a lawsuit filed Thursday. The suit claiming Bally made racist remarks, admits to coming to work high, and Garza fired for coming forward.
Well, hold on. There's nothing wrong with coming to work high. Let's all just settle it down.
Yeah, I mean, what did he say that was racist? Like, yeah, only black people buy soup. Like, what? Well, like, I want to hear what he said.
He's like, we got to tell every white not to buy this.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think about the things that he was saying?
Oh, just pure disgust.
Garza says he usually worked remotely for
lie.
Campbell's headquarters based in Camden, New Jersey. But thinking he'd be discussing his salary with Bally, he says the recording taken in person at a restaurant.
They couldn't think for the I'm like, you dumb
Garza says he felt sick after
So
the
that's what
rant,
he
deciding
said.
to go to
Okay.
his direct supervisor in January, keeping the recordings to himself.
He had never had any disciplinary action. They had never written him up for poor work performance.
Garza says no one at Campbell's ever followed up, and it's taken him 10 months to find a new job, calling the way the canned soup company handled it simply terrible.
They have a motto, like we treat you like family, here at Campbell's, come work for us, we treat our employees like family. That's not the case.
We did just receive a statement from Campbell's that says, quote, if accurate, the comments in the recording are unacceptable. They do not reflect our values and the culture of our company. We are actively investigating this matter. We've also reached out directly to Martin Bally. Eric Erickson.
As she eats some Campbell's soup. Well, shut the fuck up.
Oh, shit. She has Campbell's soup right now.
Pretend you're eating some Campbell's soup just so we can prove that. Like, it's like, hey, take a bite. Do me a favor. Take a bite.
And yo, that's a big bowl for that can. Hey, she's very attractive though.
She is.
Local 4.
Oh, she eats it.
Oh, that was just broth.
Here's what nobody's telling
She
you
didn't
about the
swallow.
new bearskin hoodie. This
It's okay, friggin'. I mean, I buy it. She's hot enough.
But it's like anything canned, aside from like maybe beans, is probably bad for you.
No, beans are disgusting. I can't even fucking believe I hear that you eat beans. You're always like, yeah, I had some beans last night. Like,
Yeah, dude, beans are delicious.
Disgusting.
Dude.
Absolutely disgusting.
What do you mean absolutely disgusting?
Ugh.
I got like 10 cans of beans in my fucking
If it was like the apocalypse, okay, I'll eat some beans, but oh my god.
What do you not like about beans?
I don't like how they make you feel. Definitely make you gassy. But for me, it's just a very bland taste. It's nothing. Beans is almost like cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving. Yeah, okay. Like if it's the end of the world, I'll have some, but it will never be anything that I'm like, ooh, let's get some beans with dinner tonight.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll chop up an onion, chop up a bell pepper, whatever else I want to toss in there, right? I'll fry that up. I'll throw some beans in there. And then I'll throw either some steak or pork or chicken in there. And now I got a little fucking bean fucking whatever, dude. It's
Oh,
delicious.
still sounds disgusting. I mean, it sounds better if you didn't add the beans. If you had just like chicken or pork and the peppers and the onions.
The beans are good, motherfucker. I don't know what else to say. That's
Each
just
his
wild.
own.
I've never met anybody that just like hates beans.
No, I don't like hate it, but I just like I've heard you a couple times like I ate beans last night. I'm like, who the fuck eats beans? Like, what are you, a cowboy on what are you, a cowboy on the Oregon Trail? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? They fucking like cook a can of beans over the fire. Like, Jesus Christ. All right, get a hold of yourself. But so next
I love it when you say that. Get a hold of yourself. I love that phrase in general.
Dude, you want
yourself.
Dude, you want to make a chick go nuts? Say that very calmly. Like, get a hold of yourself.
Oh, I please get a hold of yourself or calm down.
Yeah, could you just get a hold of yourself right now?
Yeah.
But so next we're gonna go into the tampon Tim Waltz scandal.
Oh, this is so funny.
He is part of some, like, they're saying it's now something more like $8 billion, not $1 billion.
Wow.
I just saw it today. Like, more and more workers are coming out and like ratting out tampon Tim. So the next set of videos for This Week in Politics is going to be all about that. Anytime you want me to pause it, just tell me to pause it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And one the legacy media continue to ignore. How did $1 billion or more of Minnesota taxpayer money just suddenly go missing under Tim Waltz? There he is. Hi, Tim. Waltz reportedly knew that this fraud was happening, but refused to do anything to stop it because he didn't want to lose the Somalian vote in Minnesota, and he's running for governor again. And by doing that, by being polite and likely breaking the law, Waltz allowed.
If you're worried about losing the Somali vote, there's too many fucking Somalians.
Many Somalis.
Too fucking many Somalians.
Dude,
that's ridiculous.
There's a video out there, him like getting up and moving the Minnesota flag and putting the Somali flag in his camera view.
That's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, what about the Italians or the Irish? Or, it's like nobody's worried about losing their vote.
Yeah.
Like, no, but these fucking terrorists who are sending, this isn't only tax money. Let's get real. They probably make money and send it back to Somalia. That's not tax money. So we're already losing money. And they're funding like terrorist organizations.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like they're doing this. The Democrats, this is why they're so pro-immigration, because they can't get anybody else to vote for them.
Yeah.
It's like immigrants and 97% of black chicks vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Those are the fucking stats.
Yeah.
So it's like so of course he's pulling all this shit. All right.
Hundreds of millions of dollars to be funneled directly to the al-Shabaab terrorist organization in Somalia. Joining us now for more is Kentucky Congressman and House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. I know your committee and the Treasury Department have both launched investigations. Do you see this investigation ending with your committee recommending charges to the DOJ against Tim Waltz, who's got his hands all over this fraud?
Well, if what the whistleblowers are saying is true, and we can prove that, which shouldn't be hard, then I do see criminal charges being pressed upon Governor Waltz and possibly Attorney General Ellison. There are accounts that they knew about this fraud. According to the government employees, they were warned about this fraud, yet they made the decision not to do anything about it because they didn't want any political blowback or any type of negative stories. And I think that is symbolic of what's going on with a lot of our social programs all across America, especially in states run by Democrat governors. They know there are huge amounts of illegals and fraud in their systems, but yet they turn a blind eye because this is the biggest, most vocal part of the Democrat Party now, the illegals who have come in and the liberals who sympathize with the illegals.
Yeah, we've gotten several different reports about the dollar amount here. One indicating the fraud could be up to $6 billion, which is a lot of money, period. But it's a lot of money for a smaller state like Minnesota. What are you hearing?
Well, we know there's $250 million and probably much more. This was in social service programs. We expect to find out more about other audits. Part of what we're going to request from Minnesota are audits in addition to communications. We'll get our calculators out and try to tabulate how much money was defrauded from the social services programs and the Department of Education programs in the state of Minnesota. But I could see it reaching that huge $1 billion or more mark. So this is just another example of waste, fraud, and abuse in Democrat states with illegals. I think, and you've done a great job on your show highlighting the cost to society from these illegals. And, you know, at the very end of the day, the people that suffer the most are the American taxpayers and the people who depend on those social programs, the American citizens who depend on those social programs. They're being stretched thin because of fraud. The Democrat governors like Tim Walz aren't doing anything about it. I hope we can set an example out of him and right a wrong here.
Yeah, I do too. By the way, you think about how big a deal we made of Gold Bar Bob Menendez. That was a couple $1 million. This could be $6 billion here. And if this is a Republican, his political career is already over, pre-investigation. Kristi Noem said today during a cabinet meeting that over 50% of Minnesota visas are fraudulent. Over 50%. Take a look.
You told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. He brought people in there.
He's a retard.
Illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs.
Congressman, doesn't that just prove that Tim Walz was importing third world voters to help him win elections and help other Democrats in that state win elections?
Absolutely. California and New York get a lot of press about being sanctuary states, but there's been no bigger sanctuary state over the past decade than Minnesota. And that population there, they hold congressional seats. They influence elections. They have the attorney general.
Right.
And look, they've been coordinating with a massive fraud operation. And the American taxpayers have suffered. The people of Minnesota, the hardworking taxpayers in Minnesota have suffered. And we've got to set an example and hold people accountable. And that's what I hope the end of our investigation will prove. And I just want to applaud the whistleblowers in Minnesota, the state employees who were brave enough to step forward and highlight this abuse. And hopefully we can work with the Trump Department of Justice and see some action here.
I'm tight on time, but I honestly think that you deserve more credit than you get, because your investigations, think about the Biden investigation. Donald Trump's got an auto pen framed at the White House right now. You were after this for more than 2 years. And you deserve a lot of credit for that, because that constant drumbeat, I think it played a role in what happened last November. Quick update from you. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are supposed to appear before your committee, I think December 17th and 18th. Have you heard from them? Are they going to appear? If they don't, will you please have them arrested?
Well, we're going to hold them in contempt of Congress, and that would lead to an arrest, just like it did with Bannon and Navarro. So they know the date. They haven't given us an alternative.
Yo, if that hearing goes live on fucking Forbes breaking news, I might have to take the day off of work, homie.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely fucking watching that. Where was I? Sorry.
Alternative date. We're under the assumption they're going to show on that date. If they don't, then hopefully Congress will do what it's done in the past and hold them in contempt of Congress for defying a lawful congressional subpoena.
Okay.
And remember, this subpoena was approved on a bipartisan basis. This wasn't just a Republican subpoena. This was Republican and Democrat subpoena. That holds even more weight in court.
Well, what was Bill Clinton's relationship like with Jeffrey Epstein? We're never going to know unless we hear from Bill. By the way, did you see Donald Trump put out on Truth Social tonight that all executive orders that Joe Biden signed with the auto pen are now null and void? I thought of you immediately. Does that mean possible investigations into people like Dr. Fauci, Mark Milley, maybe others?
Let's hope so.
Yes, I hope so too.
Well, I know their pardons are going to be out the door, so they can be held accountable now. They could hide behind that pardon before. So I'm willing to do whatever. We had a big role in the president's decision to declare them null and void with our
commutations
investigation. That's
too.
been used as the basis in court when people appeal.
Hold on, what did you say?
I said it says pardons and commutations. Commutations, I believe, are like if you reduce somebody's sentence significantly.
Oh, okay.
So that sucks. That's some bad news for that person.
Look, we're on a roll on Oversight Committee, and we've got a good Attorney General and a good President, and hopefully we can see some accountability now.
All right, Congressman, great to see you tonight. James Comer, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Information. Truth.
All right, next
Throw
clip.
it as hard as you want. Go on.
Hold on, we gotta.
What are we on right now where we're getting ads?
It's YouTube.
It's fucking bullshit.
I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, we're just continuing with this. Boom. Let's go. Oh, I turned the volume down for the ad.
After the Treasury Secretary claims state funds is being sent to terrorists overseas. Our Bill Keller is looking into those claims. He joins us now live from the state capitol with the latest information. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Tom. President Trump continues to ratchet up his attacks on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Our state now the target of a federal probe into claims that tax dollars stolen through welfare fraud have been used to support a terrorist group in Somalia. In a post on X, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he announced the investigation Monday, saying that hardworking Minnesota tax dollars may have been diverted to the terrorist organization Al-Shabaab. The post goes on to say, we are acting fast to ensure Americans' taxes are not funding acts of global terror, adding, we will share our findings as our investigation continues. Well, this morning, Governor Tim Walz firing back, saying that he welcomes an investigation, calling the president's threats politically motivated.
My message is simple on this. You commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to prison. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are. Anybody who wants to help us in that, we welcome that. But setting on the sidelines and throwing out accusations, and let's be very clear, demonizing an entire population and lying to people about the safety and security of this state.
It sounded like he just said, let's be very queer. Rewind it. Rewind it like 15 seconds here.
This state is beneath that.
Meanwhile, state Senate Republicans say the
fines and throwing out accusations, and let's be very clear, demonizing an entire population and lying to people about the safety and security of this state is beneath that.
Meanwhile, state Senate Republicans say the fraud in Minnesota deserves federal scrutiny, releasing a statement which read in part, whether fraud was being used for personal enrichment or being siphoned by terrorist organizations overseas. The reality is that no other state has seen these brazen fraud schemes, stealing more than $1 billion from public funds. Minnesotans deserve to know exactly where these fraudulent dollars were going and what they were being used for. This, as the New York Times published a story over the weekend tracing the fraud committed by Somalis during Walz's time as governor. There is also a social media post viewed more than 37 million times that is amplifying unfounded accusations that the governor blocked an investigation into the fraud.
What people are reading about Minnesota right now is Tim Walz, fraud, corruption. That's a hard thing to shake at this point.
Yeah, that post, by the way, came from an anonymous X account that has frequently targeted the governor and other Minnesota Democrats. The account, labeled Minnesota DHS, claims to represent nearly 500 Department of Human Services employees. But as Fox 9 was looking into the post yesterday, X actually suspended the account for some time. It did reappear later with the designation as a commentary account. The name also changed, but the account holder never responded to our messages. Tom.
All right, a story we will stay on top of. Bill, thanks for.
Yeah, but if he's dropping truth bombs, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right? Like, who gives a fuck what the account is if they're exposing this fraud?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't really think that matters, you know?
The
All right,
latest
next
on that
one.
big story. Appreciate it.
So what I think it is with YouTube, because yeah, you pay, and if you notice, we're not getting commercials through the video, but you're gonna get them at the beginning of
Edit
every
on
one.
Fox
Oh, I
Business,
see.
and she
That
has
makes
covered
sense.
this extensively. Elizabeth, you are a very deep dive reporter, and I know you have some new information. You're following this closely. So what can you tell us?
So there were 480 state workers in the Department of Human Services inside Minnesota saying that they're being censored, that the state officials there have shut down their Twitter account and suspended it because they've been blowing the whistle on these
How is
frauds.
that
Their
possible?
Twitter account is now back up under another name, and they're saying—
Hold on, what was that? There's like a little bit of delay with me pausing because I have to keep the main screen on like our studio. You know what I'm saying?
No, I was just kind of thinking out loud. I was just thinking, like, how is that possible? How are these employees getting their Twitter accounts shut down? Does the state somehow have that? I mean, I guess it does have that power where it can shut down Twitter accounts. Like Elon Musk is okay with that.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Hold on, let's hear that again from this ugly bitch.
A very deep dive reporter, and I know you have some new information. You're following this closely. So what can you tell us?
So there were 480 state workers in the Department of Human Services inside Minnesota saying that they're being censored, that the state officials there have shut down their Twitter account and suspended it because they've been blowing the whistle on these frauds.
Wow.
Their Twitter account is now back up under another name, and they're saying that the federal government needs to come in. There needs to be a federal takeover of this department, which oversees Medicaid, food stamps, and other social services payouts, because they're saying data has been destroyed, evidence has been destroyed, documents are getting destroyed. They're demanding that forensic accountants come in and follow the paper trail on these frauds that have gone on for 5 years under Governor Tim Walz.
All right, so talk to us a little bit about the politics around this Somali issue. I mean, if you just look at the people who have been indicted and who are the focus of this, who are alleged thieves, essentially, they happen to be Somali. Governor Fry, or Mayor Fry, excuse me, in Minneapolis is saying, you know, how dare you, don't even think about coming in here and rounding up Somalis, ICE. Watch this. This just came out moments ago.
Round them
We
up.
are not given advance notice or inside information
This
about these
fucking
kinds
pussy.
of operations.
Yo, pause it.
But here's what we can test. We will.
I've like really never seen a politician that I've wanted to fight so badly than this guy right here.
Yeah, I mean, he is a fucking liberal pussy.
I
and
just
he-
want to body kick him, like just
And
like me on one side, you on the other side, and we'll just fucking body kick them back and forth to each other.
And what's so funny is that he almost lost to a Somali in the election.
Well, yeah. So I think I learned this today or yesterday. You know, the "I am the captain now" guy that was running that lost. Well, one of the major reasons why he lost was because he was part of a different Somali faction back in Somalia that was against the tribe that the people in Minnesota are for. Like when they say like they're funding terrorist organizations, I mean, yeah, they're terrorist organizations, I guess, by definition, but Somalia is filled with different tribal factions, if that's a good analogy, that are fighting each other. And this guy was part of the enemy faction that most of the Somalis in Minnesota were setting their money to go fight. So that's why he lost.
Really?
Was he was just the enemy to the Somalis that were there, you know?
Unreal.
But this guy's like speaking Somalian in his speeches. Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Speaking Somalian, like blubberingly cried at the George Floyd statue.
Oh my, yeah, yeah. Oh,
he was
dude,
like blubbering.
I want to cave his fucking head in. All right, I'll stop.
All right, Luke, settle it down, man. Jesus, you're you're on a roll tonight with the aggression.
I don't smoke weed. This shit gets me fired up.
Not compromise our
is.
values here in Minneapolis. Our values and our commitment to the Somali community, to every community of immigrants and people in our city, is rock solid and will be unwavering.
It's his
But
lip.
if you
That's what
are part
pisses
of
me
a
off.
embezzling
Right.
organization, you certainly can't be shielded from being apprehended in
Right.
this
So
situation.
you take out the word Somali, you take out the word immigrants.
Yeah, who
and
did this?
This is basically a corruption scandal, right? And so what we're talking about are Hawala networks overseas that's overseen by Al-Shabaab. Tom Emmer is right, in Somalia. By the way, it's curious why Tim Walz and politicians like Jason Fry have not had their hair on fire and been more vigilant about this, because there have been cases where Al-Shabaab has been recruiting out of Minnesota and taking money out of Minnesota since the 2000s and 2010s. So it's unclear why they're not more vigilant about state taxpayer money. This is a flat-out corruption greed scandal. We don't know if terrorists are getting their hands on this money. This is an Al-Qaeda unit in Somalia. This is a City Journal story. But they're it's very hard to crack these Hawala networks. There's no bank records. There's no banking regulator or telecom regulator. And Al-Shabaab oversees the Hawala network. But the Treasury Department, they do have power here to follow bank records. If they get into the WhatsApp or encrypted messages on apps, that's the jackpot. Then they would have the story. So for Mr. Fry and Tim Walz to politicize this is wrong. It's basically a corruption, classic garden variety greed story of fraud.
Yeah. And for them, there is the question of whether or not, particularly the governor, whether or not he overlooked this and whether or not Kamala Harris's team overlooked this when they were vetting him in terms of why he wasn't uncovering this and whether or not he didn't want to go there because he thought it might offend some voters in this group.
That's right. And state workers, those 480 say that they tried to warn Kamala Harris not to pick Tim Walz because he's, quote, incompetent. So what we're talking about is not politicizing the issue. It's about classic garden variety corruption and greed.
You got to follow the money. Follow the money and see where it got stolen and where it went and whether it went to a terrorist organization. This is what has to be done. And as you point out, the federal government.
Boom. Next one. Go by the thing.
Dogs.
Boom.
Dude, I fucking love dogs.
Minnesota state representative
Me
who's
too,
working
Lucas.
with whistleblowers to uncover fraud in her state. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Whoa,
I've been speaking with
pause it.
whistleblowers since mid-January of this year.
What?
I was fucking looking at this woman like, I wonder what her voice sounds like. She looks like she smokes cigarettes. And that voice fucking threw me for a loop right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you think it'd be more cigarette smoker
Like,
voice?
yeah, well, I fucking,
Yeah. We're here on the scene.
Yeah. With you,
In Minnesota,
guys.
we have a brand new committee to the chagrin of most of the Democrats. It is the Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee, and we got to work right away. I was assigned on January 4th, and by the 16th of January, I was already speaking to the whistleblowers. I've had multiple meetings with them, and if you read their X page, which I'm sure you have, as 37 million people already have, they have a lot to say. And what I can tell you is what Walz has been saying is that they aren't real, that they don't work for DHS. And if it was real, then the BCA, which is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, or the U.S. attorney would be doing something about it, which I thought was an interesting shift away from that. The reality is they are real. They do work for DHS, and I have met with them.
All right. So the Somalis stole all this money from taxpayers. And then they spent it on luxuries. They sent some of it to Somalia. Some of it may have wound up in the hands of terrorists. And they took some of the money and gave it to Omar, gave it to the mayor, and gave it to Keith Ellison, all Democrats. And they tried to get Keith Ellison, the AG, to block the investigation in exchange for money. And when everybody got caught, they played the race card. Is that right?
And that sounds about right. Yes.
Wow.
It's been
Wow.
a challenge here in Minnesota because, yes, the race card is played all the time. And so that makes it very difficult.
course,
But
it's
the
liberal.
reality is if you're a thief, you're a thief. And I don't care what your race, color, creed is.
Yeah, no one cares. We just want the money back.
Yeah, that's true.
All
Here,
right, thank
pause
you
it
so
real
much,
quick.
and please keep working with these whistleblowers.
Yeah, I mean, nobody cares what race you are, right? But I mean, at the same time, we can acknowledge that certain races, groups of people, whatever you want to, whatever label you want to throw on it, tend to do certain things, right? In this case, We're talking about funding terrorism. You know, I mean, this is just something that Somalis do because their loyalties are not with America. They're over here making money and stealing money to go send it to go fight the fucking jihadist war that they're having in Somalia right now. You know?
Yeah. It's all very fucked up. That's all I can really
Without
say.
them, I don't know what we'd do.
Will do. Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page.
Click here.
You know, that's like the equivalent of saying, like, you know, a plane blows up and this guy says Allah, praise Allah,
For
or
giving
whatever.
me a
We're like,
very
these
interesting
Muslims
job.
are there, you know, they're blowing up our
Some days
airplanes
it's a
and like,
little
you're
controversial
racist.
too,
Like,
but-
shut up.
Okay.
It's been an honor to work for you. You are a great American. The fights that you pick are the right fights, and they're always on behalf of this country. So I appreciate the chance to do this job heading up this department. If you think about what Joe Biden did with the Department of Homeland Security, he
And just for the record, again, to reiterate, how amped up you're getting right now about talking about race is why I didn't want to do the cop bingo with you.
Well, no, I mean, I think what I'm saying is people misconstrue sometimes what I say for racism. But as I said, certain groups of people do certain things. I mean, it's just
but you're saying
statistically relevant. And right now it's the Somalis defrauding people. You know, that's just what they're doing, you know. We're not talking about, you know, unregistered firearms. We'd be talking about a different group of people. You know, we're not talking about organized crime. We'd be talking about a different group of people, you know. But I'm racist, though.
Yeah.
use this department to invade the country with terrorists.
You may not be racist, but you definitely want to be.
He opened up the borders, let anybody
I walk
come
a
in
fine
and
line.
Yeah.
He put them on airplanes. He let them through our airports. If they could figure out a way to get to our shores and in our country, he just opened the door and invited them in. So it's our job to get them out. And I want to thank you for this team because I look around the table and I think every single person here has helped me do my job over the last year. They've supported us at the border and given us resources. Marco negotiates all the travel documents and relationships with other countries to take their people home. 2 million people have gone home already. The people that were here illegally, you've removed from our country and sent home. And we're going to send more home for the holidays too, and make sure that they get to be with their families in their countries. Yes. That's right. Pam,
Focus is the bad ones, and there are a lot of them.
terrible, horrible people. And Pam, make sure she's fighting for us in court so that we can get up every day and be bold. We're going to hire our 10,000th ICE officer will be on the job within 10 days. So we have hired 10,000. We've had hundreds of thousands of applications. We've got within the department, TSA went through this government shutdown without any delays. They all showed up for their shifts and worked hard doing security. And they have been absolutely fantastic. Sir, you made it through hurricane season without a hurricane.
Yeah.
And so FEMA, you kept the hurricanes away. So we appreciate that. And FEMA is deploying resources and dollars 150% faster than ever before. So if somebody does have something bad that happens to them, you are immediately there helping them and telling them they have the resources to get back up on their feet. So we have built and deployed hundreds of miles of border already. You have cut the fentanyl flow over the southern border by over 56%. You've saved hundreds of millions of lives with the cocaine you've blown up in the Caribbean. And, you know, you told me to look into Minnesota and their
Hundreds of millions.
on
That's
visas
the
and
stretch.
their programs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
50% of
Hundreds of millions is the population of countries.
Well, hundreds of millions in cocaine, is that hard to believe?
Well, she said you saved hundreds of millions of lives.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Yeah.
hundreds of, okay.
I mean, there's 365 million people, give or take, in the United States, and the United States is the third biggest country in the entire world population-wise.
Yeah. She's
But
definitely jerking
I'll
them
let
off.
you have it. You're a woman.
Yeah.
That wacko Governor Wall
Can't be
I
perfect
am
all the
sexist. I'm not racist, but I am sexist.
time. Me
And I
too.
think he's he
Put
brought
that
people
out.
in there
Yeah.
illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers, and we're going to remove them and we're going to get our money back. And we're going to, this next year, make sure that we only put people in leadership positions in this country that love this country and have its back. So thank you for letting us get up every day and have a purpose. We
Thank you
appreciate it.
very much. Thanks, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to
Will
the Fox
Kane?
News channel.
I mean, his show's terrible, but thank God, fucking, we have this happening. Like Trump just trying to clean all this shit up.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You're not a child. You're a man.
One thing about Trump, whether you love him or you hate him, he does what he says for the most part. You know.
Yep. All right. Next clip.
The House and Treasury Department have launched investigations into alleged fraud under Governor Tim Walz's leadership in Minnesota. Joining me now is House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, who is from Minnesota. House Majority Whip, thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. You know, the most damning indictment I've seen of Governor Walz so far came from an unlikely source, by the way. The Department of Human Service employees in Minnesota came out with this ex post, and they're usually tend, I think, from the center to the left. But boy, they put it right where I think it belongs. Tim Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud in Minnesota. We let Tim Walz know of fraud early on. He systematically retaliated against whistleblowers and did his best to discredit fraud reports. So not only did he look the other way, but he was retaliating against those people who did spot the fraud and the cause of the fraud. What price should he pay for this?
Oh, I think he should be held accountable to whatever the highest level is. Look, when you have the former acting U.S. attorney say that the amount of fraud that went through the Walz administration, he's in his 7th year, it takes your breath away. When you have the New York Times of all publications saying it's staggering, the brazenness. You've already got $1 billion in fraud that's been identified, starting with the largest pandemic fraud case in the country, but also going to housing fraud, daycare fraud, Medicaid fraud. I mean, the number could ultimately reach $2 billion. And my hat's off to those Minnesota.
Like I said, they're
state
saying now
employees,
it's up to $8
because
billion.
what they're doing is they're
And hey, here, pause it real quick.
This guy knew, or he.
This is just Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
To say this isn't going on in other states, it's going on in other states.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
any
agree.
sanctuary state. I'm sure it's happening right here in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
Michelle
yeah.
Wu. I mean, Cambridge is a hotbed of foreigners.
Yeah.
Cambridge and Somerville, that area, it's all foreigners. All
Dude,
foreigners. They're giving them driver's licenses, and it's wild.
Dude, in the city of Boston, property tax is going up 13% next year at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I know. It's
Isn't
wild.
that nuts?
It's wild.
That is so nuts. I'm so glad it's happening to all of those liberals.
Me too.
Certainly should have known how bad this was because we were telling him. The state is literally administering federal dollars in many of these programs, Medicaid, for instance. The state, whoever is responsible in the Walz administration, and if it's Tim Walz, he should be the one answering for it if he knew and allowed this to happen. By the way, the investigation that's taking place, Jamie Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, announced that he's going to be looking into this. And Scott Bessent yesterday, the Treasury Secretary, said he's going to investigate the fact that, you know, out of the 80-some people charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud scam, 78 of them were from the Somali community. Now, David, not all Somalis are criminals, but we're talking about criminal activity that was committed by primarily Somali residents in the Twin Cities.
Yeah. Not all Somalis are criminals, but every criminal in this is a Somali.
Yeah, well, like I said, certain demographics do certain things. This is what and this is why Somalia has a weak, if anything, government, is because this is what they do. They steal everything from They steal everything from the state, and then all of a sudden now you don't have a state anymore. I mean, I don't want to say fortunate. I mean, not well. I don't want to say fortunately they're stealing from a rich state, but I mean, America can handle something like that, but not a shithole country like Somalia. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't take $1 billion hit. I mean, I don't even their GDP. I mean, I don't even want to look it up, but I'm sure it's low. You know, but
Look it up right now. I know you are.
yeah, I am. GDP in Somalia is 11 billion in 2023.
11 billion. The fucking Massachusetts state lottery is like 600 million.
Yeah, well, and think about it. They stole 10%, about 10%.
We've had mass millions get up to 2 billion before. I know it.
I know it's been at least $1 billion.
Yeah.
I know it's been $1 billion.
Yeah. So like,
you know,
dude, when that billion moved to Somalia, you're the king. You're the
Yeah,
king of Somalia.
In America is 30 trillion. Yeah, I mean, they Somalians stole 10% of their country's GDP.
That's wild.
Call it 9%, whatever. But
Yeah, that's wild.
and it was probably given, like I said, it's given to warlords. It's given to terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to virtuous causes. We're talking about people with IQs under the threshold for retardedness. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's true.
And they were shipping that money back to Somalia. And there's plenty of anonymous reports out there saying that it went to Al-Shabaab, but you don't even need those.
Right.
All you need to know is Al-Shabaab, a known terrorist
They
group,
take a piece of everything. They take a piece of everything that comes into that country.
Amen.
If anybody knows Somali. And the point is, you know, I have to use words like alleged and supposedly and reportedly. In this case, no. There are people who have admitted, I believe dozens of people now have pled guilty to this. So this is more than allegations. This is stuff we know about. And again, the question is whether Governor Walz turned the other way and was belittling those reports by whistleblowers because he relies on the Somali community to elect him and to re-elect him and re-elect him.
And
it's
other
even worse
leftist
than that.
governors.
Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, it has been reported to me, not only stopped investigating fraud by certain groups like these Somali fraudsters, but they actually, as these whistleblowers are now confirming, they actually actively stopped people from investigating this fraud. This is not incompetence. You don't let $1 billion plus go through the state government that you're in charge of, get dispersed out to criminals and shipped back to terrorists overseas without having somebody being complicit in this act. And whoever that is, whoever it might be, how many it might be, they should all have to answer.
Well, there's a phrase in this note from the Human Service employees. It says he systematically retaliated against whistleblowers. Isn't that alone a crime?
Absolutely. Yes. And I mean, by the way, his being the governor of Minnesota is the ultimate crime. This guy is a fraud from the word go. He lied about his military career. He got caught on national TV, David, lying about when he was at Tiananmen Square. How dumb is that? And his answer was, sometimes he's a bit of a knucklehead. Well, guess what? Whatever the criminal enterprise that was being run through the state of Minnesota, we need to find out exactly who is responsible within his administration.
And by the way, this isn't just Minnesota. This is happening all over. We had a guest from New York talking about this yesterday. It's happening in New York City. It's happening in a lot of places.
Every
I'm reminded of that
sanctuary
Reagan
state.
quote. We only have 10 seconds. Government is not the solution. Government is the problem. Go ahead.
I totally agree. And in this case, I'm just grateful for President Donald Trump actually making this a topic. We've been trying to sound the alarm for the last 3 years. Nobody would report it, David. It took Donald Trump to raise the specter of the fraud that's happening in Minnesota. And now thank you for reporting it and everybody else.
Well,
It's
even the
time to hold
mainstream
them
media
accountable.
can't avoid it anymore. And thank God you're not avoiding it. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, great to see you, sir. Thank you. Have a good vacation.
Thanks, Tom.
So I mean, these people are sending tax money to Somalia, to terrorist organizations, just to hit that home. You know, why are these people so violent? You know, why are they warring with each other back there? Why are they stealing money, going out of their way to steal money in a different country, send it back for death? You know, that's how radical these people are. That their ideologies are just so out there. They shouldn't be in America in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that makes them violent, and I know the average IQ in Somalia is low. I think it's like 61%.
Well, if their GDP is 11 billion, I
61.
mean, it's not a
Yeah.
fucking country full of geniuses.
The average IQ in Somalia is around 68. So that's the average. That means half the people in Somalia are dumber than that. This is the threshold for retardation. I think being retarded is like 70 or 75. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these people like this, right? What makes them so stupid and violent? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to do anything. What makes them like this? And what makes them like this is inbreeding. Low end, 40% of Somalians marry and breed with people inside of their family. And this goes with a lot of Muslim countries. Low end, 40%. That's what I mean. And then these inbred children are prone to violence. They're not, I mean, they're retarded. That's the only way. That's the only way to put it. That's the only way to put it.
Retarded, yeah, for sure, dude.
You know, you're just not. You don't have capacities. How we were talking about capacities when we were talking about police videos. These people are missing capacities in their brain for logical thinking, to understand concepts. It's just violence and ideology.
Well, a couple of the people in the video it was about addiction with them.
Oh, in the police videos?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them, yeah. But I just wanted to drive that incest point home too, because that's a lot of Muslim countries. It's not just Somalia, Pakistan.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the Muslim countries do it.
Just name the country.
Yeah,
just
they
name
do
the
it.
country.
10:51. I was timed out there. Brian Kilmeade joins us. Kilmeade, the Treasury Department is investigating whether Minnesota's welfare money went to the Somali terror group Al-Shabaab. I want to know the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. He stopped the investigation. What's going on here? Where's the accountability?
Not only that, he goes after the whistleblowers that brought it forward. And he says, how dare you generalize, he says, on the how dare the president generalize and talk about the Somali community and just indict one community? There were other people doing these horrible things to the tune of $1 billion. And I knew this would interest you, Stuart. Did you know of the 86 people who have been indicted on this and more are coming? 79 are from the Somali community. Yeah. Am I generalizing or am I accurately portraying who's doing this? And some of the most horrific things possible. I'll give you an example. This guy, Don Gator, a former Minnesota lawmaker, found out that this safari restaurant that has 35 tables and serves people in the underserved community gets financed to give people, basically homeless people and people who are hard on their luck, meals. In a restaurant of 35 tables, he says he was serving 18,000 meals a week. So guess who was paying for that? The taxpayer. Who was getting that money? The so-called owner. Guess where that money was going? According to Chris Rufo, it was going back to Somalia, where the Al-Shabaab is basically running things. You have other things where they take the autistic community gets a whole bunch of money for service. So they have fake autistic people from the Somali community that get money to be taught with autistic teachers who are basically not taught. They're taught to kids who are totally on the straight track. They're getting all this money, all these supplements, and the parents are getting kickbacks for it in the Somali community. Walz not only knows this, I imagine, but he ignored it and went after the people that exposed it. And one of the things they do when people try to expose it, they say you're a racist.
Exactly.
You don't
Happens all
like
the time.
minorities.
Happens all the time. But Walz's office has told Fox News Digital, should a connection be found between Minnesota tax dollars and Al-Shabaab, he welcomed an investigation. But he's
what else is he gonna say?
But he's also that fucking stupid where he would say that.
Yeah.
And then it comes and he turns around and he's like red. I mean, the guy put tampons in the men's room.
Yeah.
Like, he is that stupid. He is a retard.
He is. And I mean,
investigation,
here,
didn't he?
Keep it paused real quick. I mean, he knew about this. They're saying he depended on the vote, which I don't doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
But also, that can't be it. He himself has to be getting kickbacks in some way, shape, or form, too. So, if that's true, and that's speculative, I'm just speculating. But I don't see a world where he's not getting some type of kickback from fucking looking the other way. And to me, that's aiding and abetting terrorism in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if he does turn a blind eye, I mean, we got to start giving politicians the fucking firing squad for shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is wild.
Or like public floggings.
Yeah, exactly. For like a weekend.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, he did stop it, and it's been exposed. And the way he got out of it on Sunday was, instead of doing the follow-up saying that you went after whistleblowers and this happened on your dime and in the permissive community around you. So all the social programs and the pandemic money were going the wrong direction. He didn't follow up on it, which shows you're a terrible senior executive. Why he's going for another 4 years and the people of Minnesota would even look at him again, I don't know. Can't believe it. But did you also see the fact that when he was being considered as a vice presidential nominee,
yes,
and by the way, 400 service workers from a union also did it.
Yep.
They came in and they said to him, look into the way he's running Minnesota. Look at the social programs and the corruption involved before you pick him. Kamala Harris's people either didn't see it or ignored it. They pick him anyway. And he's probably the worst number 2 in the history of the country.
I want to know what Ilhan Omar knew about this. I mean, she's central to the Somali community in Minnesota. And she's been there all these years.
She organized it.
Did she know anything about it?
I agree.
And if so, what did she do about it? Apparently nothing.
Apparently nothing. But just know this.
She was brought to power in government for this very reason.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It was probably the Somali government that put her over here.
No shit.
Give money to, for example, Yemen. The people in charge are the Houthi rebels. So they're getting a lot of it. So when you give money to Somalia, send it back. Al-Shabaab is in charge of Somalia in a war-torn area. And one of the excuses we hear, they're coming from a society and a culture where a lot of this theft, government theft, is commonplace. Excuse me. That's exactly what Trump is talking about. If you can help our country, you should be getting priority to be in our country.
Right.
If you're going to draw on our social service system, let alone work on corruptive practices, you could not be given most favored status. And the people that should be outraged are the taxpayers, most first and foremost, in Minnesota.
Yeah, who should not. Well, we'll see if they elect him for a third term as governor. I don't think they will. Brian Kilmeade, out of time.
I don't think they will.
Unfortunately, because this is a good subject.
You can choose to raid the caravan, or you can choose.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is calling for a full travel ban on a number of countries who are, quote, flooding our nation with killers, leechers, and entitlement junkies.
Leechers?
Congressman Byron Donalds is joining us now. Congressman, is this extensive travel ban justified?
It is. I mean, look, obviously, in light of what happened in Washington, D.C. a week ago, coupled with the fact that the nation is still dealing with massive amounts of illegal immigration in our country that has flooded every city and every state in America. So, yes, it is warranted. I think the administration's take on this is the appropriate one. This is why when President Trump came into office, the first order of business was shutting the border down completely. That promise was made and that promise was kept. Now it's about making sure that we really just pause a lot of the immigration into the United States while we get our house in order to a large degree. So I think what Secretary Noem is talking about is warranted.
I want you to address the Minnesota scandal. I'm sure you've seen it. A group of people, including many Somalis, took $1 billion. Our question is, how come Governor Tim Walz did nothing about it? Because he was alerted to it early on and nothing happened. How did this happen?
Well, honestly, a lot of this stuff happens because you have these Democrat front groups who are using government money. They have people who probably work in the Walz administration who are partial to these groups. So when this money goes out the door, nobody's really tracking it. It's one of the bigger issues in our government, both federally and actually in a lot of states, is that you don't really have real controls minding the store per se. And so you have these front groups, they sign up for different grant programs, they get this money, they put some baseless line item in for why they need it, but it goes to so many other activities that nobody's tracking. So I think that the investigations into this are going to be critical. I'm glad that the Treasury Secretary is stepping up to investigate this matter. More needs to come, and there needs to be a lot of oversight on these dollars. One of the big things, Stu, and this is why USAID, when Donald Trump came into office, had to be thoroughly reviewed, shut down most of it, is because a lot of these dollars, which everybody says is going to humanitarian efforts, actually go to a lot of radicalism around the globe and here in the United States.
Let's start with that. Congressman Byron Donalds, thanks for being with us this morning, sir. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we covered USAID on previous podcasts. They were funding some wild stuff.
Yes, they were.
Transgenderism, like Paraguay and weird shit like that.
Yep.
You know, so.
Sesame Street in Iraq.
Yeah, Sesame Street in Iraq. Do they even have fucking TVs over there? I don't
know, dude. I don't know.
They've been bombed out since the 80s. So
yeah. So it's pretty wild. I think we're gonna find out. I mean, it's so funny because this is only the first year of Trump, but we're gonna find out in these next 3 years that I'm predicting right now, every sanctuary city is a sanctuary city because they rely on those votes.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to find all these cities are going to be doing the same scandals that they're finding out in Minnesota right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's definitely, as we get closer to the midterms too, there's going to be some crazy news cycles in the next year. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Because they're going to just drill down on Democrats and their fraud, and this is just the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more ammo out there.
Yeah, well, that's all we got for politics for this week, Lucas.
Oh, very nice. Well, like, comment, subscribe. If you've made it this far, let us know what you think. And let us know if we should play that game.
Make sure to let us know or Luke's going to keep bringing it up.